Hey everybody, welcome back to the 50/50 Showcase episode 41. Let's talk tanks this time. This is my first tank of the set of 50 heroes, vigilantes, rogues, villains that I am showcasing from my collection of level 50 characters on the City of Heroes Homecoming server, the Excelsior Shard. Dione, she is a fire armor, staff fighting, Pyre mastery tank. And she is built to put out some damage, survive a fight, be able to heal herself as needed. She's not your, main battle tank gonna take a beating from every possible thing. She's more of get in there, survive long enough, and just scorch earth policy. Uh, tear stuff down, turn it to ash, and then hopefully she's got enough survival to get past that fight and move on to the next one. If you're looking for someone who's gonna like solo tank, some task force, this is probably not your build. But if you want someone who can throw out some pretty strong high levels of damage, maintain aggro, draw a lot of fire, this is a great build for you. I think she's going to do really good with teams because she'll be able to pull the aggro, lay down those burn patches, and then everybody just throw their fire on top of where she's at. Throw a little buff on her with, some defender, corrupt, or whatever, and she'll do just fine. Let's take a look at the mids build. Here we go. Scoot it down a little bit so you can see it from the top. And she has just about everything from Fiery Aura, except for the Tier 9, the self-res. I've said this multiple times now, I am not a strong believer in self-res powers, especially at Tier 9. Tier 9 is supposed to be your penultimate power, and here it is, oh, I'm gonna die, let me res myself. Come on. That's why there are res inspirations in the game. That's why there are temporary power, prestige power reses. Why would I spend one of my tier 9s on this? I mean, yeah, it does some damage, but so what? I can go and get that one prestige power from the pay to win vendor that does the big old icy explosion. This is not gonna make or break you. I took everything from staff fighting because staff fighting has some interesting. It's not really combos. You do want to hit 3 times to build your stacks. I forget what it's called in the game, but once you build 3 hits, 3 combos, it triggers some additional effects that you can get from your particular staff mastery that you've chosen. There's 3 different forms that you can pick. What is it? Form of the mind, form of the body, and form of the soul. Those I'll show you those on the mids build. They're down here. All right, so here you go. Oops, yeah, did I do that wrong? Yes, I did. Why, yes, I did do that wrong. Went a little bit too far. All right, so there it is. Let me scoot it down this way so you can see it better. So you've got the different forms: mind, soul, body. And they will trigger different effects as it says here in the description. Your form of the body, this is going to boost your damage output by reducing, there it is. Just trying to zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see that, but what you're going to do is once you've built up these 3 levels of your perfection here, and you hit with Eye of the Storm, that's going to reduce the damage resistance that allows you to deal extra damage. It's also going to deal some extra smashing damage. If you've got the 3 levels that do Sky Splitter, that's going to do smash damage and give you some resistance buff for a short time. So that's, for instance, with Form of the Body. Form of the Mind is something similar to that. It's over here. This one, and it's triggered off those 2 powers, Sky Splitter and Eye of the Storm. So Eye of the Storm, after you've built your 3 stacks, you're going to deal psychic damage and slow the target. Sky Splitter, if you do that, you can do the psychic damage and give you a to hit buff. And then I think the one I normally run is Form of the Soul. You build up your 3 stacks you hit with Eye of the Storm. You're going to reduce defense of the target and then deal bonus energy damage. Sky Splitter is going to similarly deal energy damage and then also grant you a regen and recovery buff. So it depends on, what you're trying to do. You can lower, speed, defense, resistance, deal some bonus damage, and you get a little perk if you hit with your Sky Splitter. So anyway, I usually am running Form of the Soul. It lowers defense, makes it easier to hit other things. So anyway, you want to have at least, Eye of the Storm, Staff Mastery, and Sky Splitter, for those. Taunt, of course, your tank going to be taunting. The rest of these, you got single target and AoE stuff. So Mercurial Blow is a single target, minus defense, plus damage, right? Precise Strike, single target. Disorient plus damage. Guarded Spin is a cone. This actually boosts your own defense as well as doing damage. Eye of the Storm is a PB AoE. You spin it around you, knock your foes down. Staff Master, we already mentioned. Serpent's Reach. This is a ranged attack, so you lunge and you can strike at range out to 40 feet with this thing. And so it's kind of like a little baby ranged attack. Innocuous Strikes. This is a big old cone with damage, immobilize, and minus speed. And then Sky Splitter is your big old tier 9. And as it suggests, you do a big old smash attack. Foes get knocked up. Disorient knocks things out of the air. And it also will consume your perfection stacks, just like Eye of the Storm will. So you got a whole range of different attacks. And I find staff fighting to be very quick activating, quick attacking. So I am just unleashing these, left, right, and center. Just attack, attack, attack. And so my, basic strategy, I'm going to go in there. I've got Fiery Aura with all these different shields. I'm going to lay down a burn patch. I'm sure pretty much everybody knows what the heck a burn patch is. That's your big, PB AoE damager. So you go into melee, you drop a burn patch, you start beating down with staff fighting, you throw an Eye of the Storm to knock down your enemies. Right, you can innocuous strikes, immobilize, you can sky split and drill somebody. And meanwhile, they're just burning away in your burn patch. I've got consume as well to get some endurance back. It's also kind of a little PBAOE attack power as well. So the armors are similar to what you've seen with the brutes and with the sentinels I was just running. There's nothing super crazy special about them. Fiery armor is arguably, or perhaps not arguably, it's the highest damaging armor set out there, mostly just because of burn patch. The rest of the stuff is pretty much the same things you're going to find in most other sets. You do have the consume to get your endurance back. You've got a damage aura. You've got your not defense. You got damage resistance is your main thing. The other thing that's special with Fiery Aura, but other armor sets have healing, but healing flames, that's your probably the other signature power perhaps in Fiery Aura. You got a heal, you got an endurance gain, and you got burn patch. The rest of this is fairly straightforward, common sort of stuff that you've got out there. You also have Fiery Embrace, that's your plus damage. And I think it boosts the damage of fire attacks more than, I don't know if it shows it. No, it doesn't say. I don't know what the exact numbers are on it, but it's going to boost your damage overall, but the fiery damage is boosted more than just regular damage. So for this particular set, it's not going to help staff fighting much, but it will help your burn patch and your blazing aura. And then I went with Pyre Mastery as my ancillary, my epic. This has, of course, fiery attacks. I've got a single target hold with Char. Fire Blast is a single target ranged attack. Melt Armor is a nice ranged AoE minus resistance, minus defense to help, melt the armor of enemies and then get in there and start pounding on them. And then Fireball is a big old AoE damage ranged attack. So this gives you a couple ranged attacks, right? You got Char and Fire Blast. You can kind of use those as single target attacks with better range than your Serpent's Reach. But you do have Serpent's Reach, so that's technically 3 ranged attacks. You've got Guarded Spin being a melee cone. The reach on that one is almost 10 feet, the range. Innocuous Strikes, the range on that is also about 10 feet. So, you got some short rangey attacks. You got some spinning. And then you got the Fireball, the, little baby nuke blast with that. So I've got a lot of ways to throw damage out at medium to short range with this character. Then if you take a look at sets, this is a fairly inexpensive build because I don't have, ATOs, I don't have a bunch of purples. I certainly could take those and make this even stronger, but it's a fairly inexpensive. I got some Impervium armor sitting here. That's going to give me some psi resistance, which is one of the things that you need. If you take a look at the overall totals, my smash and lethal numbers are really good. I've taken the fighting pool to get tough to get some more smash lethal. Fire armor for sure. The big thing that it's going to bring to the table is fire resistance. This is why people will farm with a fire armor character against fiery attacking enemies. And then you've got energy negative is pretty high. So I'm near cap with smash lethal. I'm over cap with fire. Energy and negative are pretty high, 60%. So against, a lot of the common stuff in the game, she's just fine. Cold is, decent, 40-some%. Psionic is okay at 30. The only thing that she's got to hold against is toxic. Defenses are, terrible. I don't have anything above, 8% over here, but this is not a defense build. This is a resistance build, and then if something does get through, you've got healing flames to heal yourself. You've also got health. I threw in the Numinas to get the regen. Let me scoot that up, scoot this down so you can see it. There we go. There's health, right? I haven't talked about the Incarnates yet, but I did go ahead and take Rebirth with another heal there. So I've got ways to, get my health back pretty quickly between Healing Flames and, Rebirth, and then just the regen from the Numinous down here in health is going to help. So really, I'm not here to be tanking for 20 minutes, right? This character's going to go in, tank for a few seconds that it takes to start laying down the burn, the fireball, the Eye of the Storm, the guarded spin, and just start going sick like that. And then hopefully within a few seconds, 15 seconds, almost the entire group is dead. I've got enough decent soft control with knockbacks and knockdown type powers that I'm not really afraid of, bosses, because I'll just be sweeping the leg like Mr. Lawrence with them and throwing them on the ground. Let's see, anything else that is, oh my god, I gotta tell you all about it. No, not really. I mean, I got, chance resistance debuff here. I got, some, nothing nothing really crazy with these sets. I did slot innocuous strikes for the slow. Just trying to get as many different damage resistances, I think, is what I was, mainly trying to do. As I look at some of these cheaper sets like Kinetic Crash and Serpent's Reach, that's got some, damage resistance to smash lethal plus the knockback protection. Oh, that is one of the problems with Fiery Aura. You have your plasma shield as your resistance toggle. Hold on one second. All right, so anyways, I was saying the your Mez protection shield here, plasma shield, doesn't have knockback. Here's one of the issues with Fiery Aura and why you would need all these powers is that they've taken a lot of your Mez protection. I mean, the original version of Fiery Shield here, Fiery Aura, didn't have every possible Mez protection. Like knockback was a big one, so fire tanks would get knocked on their butt and thrown across the room. They didn't have immobilize, stuff like that. So if you look through, your plasma shield has your main, I guess your main resistances to meds, but it's only hold and sleep. That doesn't cover all the other stuff, mobilize, fear, stun, knockbacks, etc. So you got to go through the whole set and look for them. Fire shield has some stun resistance in it, right? So you got to have that. Let's see, Healing Flames is where you're going to get toxic resistance as another example of kind of weird oddities. So if you want toxic resistance, you need to click Healing Flames, which kind of wastes your heal. Then you got temperature protection. This is slow is in here, slow resistance. There is some knockback in here, but it's only like a mag 1 or something like that, which is barely anything. So you're still going to get tossed around. Let's see. Then you've got Plasma Shield has your hold and sleep, like I was saying. The burn patch is how you escape immobilizes. You got to drop your burn patch to get out of it. So there's like I think 4 different powers with your mez protections in them, where most other armor sets have everything built into one thing. So anyway, if you go back to some of the slotting, for instance, kinetic crash, yeah, I've got this slotted. That gives me mag 3. So 3 plus the 1 I have from plasma shield gives me mag 4, which is decent in most cases. I won't get knocked back, but there are certain things that'll still knock you back. What is it, like a longbow ballista's force bolt will send you flying. So if you look at the sets I've chosen, a lot of them have they're cheap, but they also have a reason. They give me a bunch of resistances here and there. So for instance, kinetic crash gives me the knockback as well as the smash lethal. I've got impervium armors, that's giving me psi resistance, and I've got that 3 different powers, so that's helped me get my psi resistance up to 30%, which is pretty solid. Then I've got Healing Flames. I did throw the resistance recharge in there so that it can help me a little bit with the toxic, but it's actually more to get the heal to recharge faster. So that's almost like a throwaway power, but if I am facing toxic, I can Healing Flames. I've got the multi-strikes because those are great sets for multiple resistances, smash, lethal, fire, cold, energy, negative. And you're also going to be benefiting some from those mez resistances because you don't have any fear protection in any of your stuff. So I've got that once, twice, 3 times. I've got an obliteration set giving me some more smash lethal. I've got the decimation giving me energy negative resistance, some recharges in there. I already mentioned the annihilation for the resistance debuff, but also you got resistance to energy negative, some endurance discount, focus smite, some more resistance, fire cold, toxic psi. So I've got it sprinkled here, there, and everywhere. Lots of just ways to get some damage resistance. I also went for a lot of, I think, plus hit points or healing to give myself some more survivability with that. So it's kind of a layered approach that, similar to what you've seen with some of my other builds as well. Primarily, you're trying to get the damage resistance. After that, you got some regen, healing, hit points. Okay, then take a look at the Incarnate stuff. I've got Spiritual Alpha, so that's recharge. Again, I need to get that healing, healing flames back quickly, so I've got that. It also boosts healing. It helps with your, jumping, your slow movement debuff, because I do have that innocuous strikes up here, which can slow down targets when I hit them. And then you've also got the to hit buffs, which I don't know if I have any raw, just plus to hit. I don't think Fire Embrace has any plus to hit in it. There was something. Oh, I don't know if it goes with my one form. One of the forms has the plus to hit in it. So I don't know if that gets boosted by the spirituals plus to hit. Something tells me probably not. So that's a little bit wasted. I do have a couple of stun powers, disorienting attacks, so that'll help there with those. But it's mostly the recharge and the healing that I was going for with spiritual. Then I've got reactive core, minus resistance, the damage over. Oops, let me scoot that up so you can actually see it. Can't see them. There we go. So I've got the reactive interface, right? Because I want the minus resistance. I want the extra damage because I am going to be fairly damagey with this character. So that's the big deal with that. Then you've got rebirth. Already mentioned that. The extra heal is good here, plus max hit points. I've taken assault, the chance for double hit as my hybrid, so that'll boost my damage pretty well. I mean, I've farmed with this character before. Obviously, brutes are going to do it faster, but this is a farming type of build if you want it to be. I've got Pyronic. Another fiery attack. This one's got the faux disorient. I went with that side of it, the radial, to give me some more stun. And then I grabbed the Sue. This is probably the biggest one I regret. I did it just because sort of the theme of this character is that martial arty, Eastern type of warrior. So I went with the Sioux, more for theme, but the sorcerer just totally blows. He teleports around like sorcerers do with the stupid hurricane. He's never around when you frickin' need him. He's aggroing crap left and right. It's the dumbest frickin', you know, pet out there. I wish the Sioux that you got were actually the ones from the incarnate version, not the non-incarnated version. That would make these Sioux so much better. But no, you're screwed. So I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll re not re not respec it, but just redo that incarnate. Unfortunately, I've got already a bunch sunk into it. I think I've got mine at tier 3 right now. But anyway, that is the plan. That is the build. That's what she does. She is a damager tank. She's going to get in there, burn, spin around, knock things down. Survivability is based upon damage resistance to a lot of different stuff, and then healing. And getting the recharge in these things has got to be pretty quick. The recharge in healing flames, for an example, is sitting at 16 seconds. I'll pop mids open again. So I've got healing flames every 16, 17 seconds. So, that's the big thing there. It's also going to, of course, apply that toxic resistance. So it's going to be pretty much going to have toxic resistance all the time because the duration is 60 seconds. So healing flames, healing flames, healing flames, over and over and over again. Keep myself alive just with that, probably. All right, that's that. I'm going to have to go ahead and run, of course, a couple solo missions to show you how she operates strategically, tactics, that kind of stuff. See how these powers work in actual game, and then do some teaming, because I think teaming is probably her forte. Again, she's not going to be tanking some task forces, multiple AV type of thing. She's more like a secondary tank. So if there's another brute or tank who can take a bigger beating than she can, I'll let them go. I'll go in and second tank. Um, I'll taunt stuff from a distance, bring it closer, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to try to go in there and round up an entire room worth of guys because she just doesn't have that raw survivability that other tanks would. All right, that is the build. We will see you with the missions.